Hi everyone, I'm Afshi.
Hey guys, Derek here.
Hi, I'm Haris.
Hey, it's Tanuja.
And welcome to the Woke Up Show. The Woke Up Show is a podcast with a rotating panel where we talk about lots of different topics, big and small, serious and silly, in order to get more woke. Alright, so today we have three amazing guests with us to speak about small businesses. So these are all small business owners and they have different types of business that have been operating both before the pandemic and during the pandemic. And I thought it would be interesting to talk to some small business owners because I feel like I see all these statistics and all this information everywhere, but I actually haven't taken the time to speak to people about what it's like to, first of all, run a business as a young person, and secondly, deal with this freaking pandemic, which we can never seem to get out of. So maybe you guys can take a second and just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business. Maybe Derek, you can go first.
Sure. Thanks, Apshi, for a very good introduction. This is Derek here. I'm the co-founder of the Hacker Collective, which is a tech startup builder, where we work with really interesting founders across Southeast Asia to build startups. It really started off 1 to 2 years ago, around 1.5 years ago, when I was learning up technology. And I taught myself how to code basically, right? Because I couldn't afford boot camps. I couldn't afford university again. I decided to just do it myself. And that's when I realized that, over time, people started paying me for projects. And that's when I realized that's a huge demand for it, right? Yep. And, just over time, I started hiring talents and I realized the talents in Malaysia, I mean, not trying to throw any shame on them or anything, right? But a lot of them, maybe the good ones probably would have went to Singapore or got hired by top tier startups, right? Venture-backed startups. But for the ones that I encountered, probably 8 out of 10 couldn't deliver what I needed them to deliver. And I had to coach them as a self-taught coder. I had to teach them how to do it, right? And I realized something is very wrong. And that's how we got into education. So let me cut my part short, right? So basically, we are now a 300 people community group where we have people from data science, digital marketing, tech, doing all things startup related. So if anyone's interested in tech startups, I'm the guy you should talk to.
So, and also you didn't go to university for programming and tech, right? You went to university for something else. So that's how that connection was kind of made.
Yes. Apologies, forgot that. Yeah.
That's cool. What about you, Haris?
Well, probably not as cool as what Derek was talking about, but basically I am the co-founder and the self-proclaimed chief motivational officer at Journey Indoor Cycling Studio. So it's an indoor spinning indoor cycling gym, and I started out with two of my partners, and right now we actually started, we'll probably get into it a little bit later, but we started out just when the pandemic hit, so that was tough. I was a indoor cycling instructor while I was at university as well at my first place, which was Fly Cycle. So that was what was known as Fly Cycle before that, and that's basically where I kind of built like my reputation and where get my contacts, kind of learned the craft a little bit more, and I guess try really make it my own. And then after that, for me as an instructor, we just felt like it was time to step up, time to move up, and journey happened just like that.
Nice. I definitely think because I used to go to Fly Cycle while Haris was teaching there, and he really built a brand for himself. Like there was a lot of people who would only sign up for your classes. They would make sure to get to your classes. I just remember that you had a real brand going for you, and you can see how, you started somewhere and you understood the craft and you grew it, and then you took it to the next level by opening your own business. So it was cool to kind of see that transition happen over the years. What about you, Tanu?
Thank you. Yeah.
So nice to hear your stories, you guys. Okay, hi, I'm Tanuja. I'm the founder of by Tanuja, and I've got a product called Living Herbs. It's 100% natural, organic, 100% cruelty-free, Ayurvedic. It's an Ayurvedic health and beauty powder. That's actually a personal, family, traditional Ayurvedic recipe that was founded by my mom, actually. So she created this Ayurvedic secret herbal magic powder, as we call it at home, because it's known to help with health and beauty and there's an ingredient in it. If you guys Google, it's very popular. It's known as ajwain, and it's known to cure almost 9,000 different types of diseases. So that's one of the main ingredients in our magic powder. And yeah, it's something that I actually came up with in the pandemic last year. Being not able to go out and film and do my hosting things. So I was just at home, and my mom was producing this a lot more because it's something that I've been consuming personally since I was 19. My entire family takes it at night before we go to bed. And she was producing it a lot more, and she's saying, it really helps strengthen the immune system. And then I was like, why don't I just market it and see if it works? Yeah. And it's helped tons of people over the past 1 year in terms
included.
of yeah, I guess I'm up for you to try as well, with all your health and beauty woos, from diabetes to high blood pressure to PCOS, you name it, we have it. And so I just founded that, and I didn't know it would grow so fast, but it's just been an amazing, very humbling journey beyond everything else, really.
That's awesome. I think it's also a good time to open a business that's about health and wellness, because I think everybody seriously started thinking a lot about their health during the pandemic.
Correct. And it's unlike any other powder out there, actually, because a lot of people, coming from a background of working in the media for such a long time, and once you're a beauty queen in Malaysia, you can never run away from that whole title. Once a Miss Malaysia, always a Miss Malaysia. You take it with you till your grave. They never leave you off it, no matter what. And I think everybody was thinking I'll probably come up with something weight loss related, and I'm very much against everything that's laxative based, and I'm always more naturalistic, more holistic with my approach in terms of wellness, in terms of health and beauty, and something that I really wanted to share that I personally take in. So it really comes from a very, very deep, passionate place when it comes to health.
Tanuja, you mentioned something about acting and hosting. What do you used to do?
I was mainly a TV host, so I used to do a lot of travelogue shows. I used to do a lot of dramas and series as well. I work in both the Malay and the English industry because I speak Bahasa and English as well. So I used to do a lot of those thank you guys, until the pandemic hit. And then we weren't allowed to film.
I was gonna say, it's really nice that you don't focus on the typical, how in Asia there's always this lose weight, get fairer skin, all that focus. I like that your focus is health and wellness and getting stronger and feeling better. That I feel is so much more important than
it is, right? Because I think I'm also very blessed that I come from a mom who's she studied Ayurveda, and for her, she always told me, yes, you can look beautiful, you can feel great and look great, but everything needs to start from the inside first. So at By Tanuja's tagline is actually IHOB, which means inner health, outer beauty. So my mom's always you want to look beautiful on the outside, you want good skin, you want good hair, you want good anything, it has to start internally first. Everything has to be balanced. And hence the magic powder does that. It really fixes you up, makes you sleep at night. And my mom's always, sleep's very important, otherwise hormonal imbalance kicks in after a certain age. So at By Tanuja, Living Herbs basically does that and gives that to you. Always inner health first, guys. Always.
Not gonna lie, man, your hair does look very, very healthy.
Thank you, guys. 100% natural, and
extremely jealous of the hair. Extremely jealous.
If I could give it to everybody, I would give it, guys, and it's black, so it would match most people.
I think, you might need to make something for that and send some over. I think.
Right.
Well, I do have quite a bit of secrets to share under By Tanuja. There's going to be a few products that will come out in the near future, so stay tuned for sure.
Can't wait.
So I actually wanted to ask you guys, so starting a business is obviously a huge feat, and I think that to make that leap, to decide to do that, you kind of know that there's it's going to be a lot of hard work. You might have to work without getting paid. You're really going to be investing in yourself, sometimes for a year, 2 years. You don't really know when the company is going to start making money, and it's difficult. So what kind of made you guys decide to make that leap and start your own business? Especially you guys are all so young.
Should I go
first? Haris?
Anyone
I'll go real quick. Man, I think, well, a lot of things happened that, obviously we didn't expect. Now, first things first, I think back then which I say back then, but it was like maybe a year and a half ago, there was really only like one prominent spin gym, which was Fly Cycle at the time. That wasn't much. I think there was another one, Ministry of Burn as well, who's not up anymore, but I think they were up as well at the time. So the market was generally pretty small still. So, it was an opportunity for us. For me, myself personally as well, I kind of saw that I think I got a brand going on. There was a lot of people who, always trying to come to my classes, trying to train with me and all that, those kind of things. So it was good. It was a good feeling. And I felt like my style of how I did it was a little bit different from what was going on right now. And even compared to like the things that I've seen overseas, I thought it was something I could bring to the table where, something new, better, I think maybe is the word, I guess. I don't know. I might be creating tension right now, but everything kind of happened like very, very, kind of sudden, but I was already planning it that final year that I was working. And then, I was going to take a little bit more time with it, but everything just started falling into place. And I'm also the type of person that to not kind of push a good thing that just comes. So I took it as it went. It went pretty good. It was very, very flowy. And everything was set, we found a nice place, and that was by luck as well. I wasn't even supposed to find the studio that we have now in Plaza Zurich. That was by chance. We were viewing another spot, and then the guy was just like, hey, do you want to look at this place? It was too big at first. It was like 4,000 square feet. And we were like, nah, this is too much of a risk. And then now we've expanded. We started off with about 2,000 square feet. And then now we took the whole 4,000. So that was like a year later.
Nice. Wow.
So yeah, it was a lot of things really. We started exactly during the pandemic. How crazy is that? We were literally, I think, a week to launch. Or 2 weeks to launch, and then they I think it was 2 weeks, and then after that they announced the first MCO, so the first one. And I think during the time everybody was just like, okay, whatever, we're just going to be in for about 2 weeks and then we're coming back out. And then they extended it, and then that's when we were like, oh, okay, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
And then I think everybody started taking it more seriously then. And being like a physical studio, we need people to come into the studio, and
and you guys
fortunately
also have
enough,
specialty equipment. You guys have the bike. It's not so easy to translate that online.
Yeah. So I was just gonna get into that. So that kind of came in. We had the bikes. We had everything. We paid for everything. It was a big upfront investment, and we were like, okay, what are we gonna do now? We're just sitting on everything that we've already invested in, and we still have to pay rent. We got to pay salaries and all that. So literally in the time span of a week, guys, we started our journey online, which is our online studio. So now we run live classes from the studio as well as physical classes. And we managed to set it up in a week. And I literally, even before that, actually, I'm going to dial it back a little bit more. We started out just to build the hype with my customers, the loyal ones. I was doing classes in my living room, and bad lighting, bad sound systems. This was before anybody even thought about really moving online. And it was something that wasn't really done, live classes. It was always videos and stuff. Yeah. But we moved so quickly, it was crazy. And then we set up Journey Online. We rented out all the bikes. We've sold over 150 bikes, I think, to people in Malaysia. Yeah, it's insane. In a year, we literally did so much. And I'm just thinking about it now, it's been an insane journey this whole time, literally. Yeah, but literally. But we managed, people, I resonate so much with what Tanuja said about feeling good on the inside. So this is what I always tell my instructors, you need to ensure that when the people come, they feel good, not just about obviously how they look outside physically and all that, but you need to kind of connect with them on a deeper level. And this is how I kind of look into holistic health a little bit more. This is what I try to practice in my classes, and thankfully enough, I'm still doing what I'm doing, and the numbers are still pretty good. I don't see you anymore, Akshi, but hey, I mean we're good. We're good.
Just had to put on the spot. What
I'm not gonna hold it against you, but hey, I
I don't have a bike.
I'm joking. I'm pulling your leg.
No, but I did want to say though, I remember you had a Drake ride and fly cycle that I always wanted to go for, but I was never able to book that class. It was always packed. So I feel like I can completely see how that like stepping stones kind of just, this was eventually going to happen. Because it was impossible to get into your classes back then.
Thank you. I mean, limited bikes.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We might have to send a bike over now since you said such nice things about me. Thank you, Afloat. We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
Wait, Harris, everything's been done online, right? So why did you build the 4,000 square feet? Why do you buy that space?
Because at the end of the day, the thing about online classes is that it's still something that is the experience, at least. It's still, you can't really compare with the real physical thing in studio. Yeah, so in studio, you get the surround sound, you get all the lights. If you guys have been to a studio, usually you would have LED lights. You get that, it's almost like a concert, like an event.
Yeah.
That's what I go. I literally, dude, when I'm on the stage, guys, I'm usually if you meet me outside, I'm pretty chill. I keep it calm. But when I'm on the stage, that's when everything gets out, and it's just a different experience, and it's really truly something that for me at least can't be replaced because of just the experience. So it's if you're watching a concert live and compared to watching it through the screen. I mean, it's still good, but it's not that 100%,
It's the energy. Yeah. You need that energy transfer. There's something you watch the instructor, you're like, look at them, they're going in, I can do it. And the feeling of having people around you, it's hard to replicate, but I mean, you must be doing it pretty well if there's so many people still signing up online.
I guess we're doing something right.
What about you?
Yeah, man, dude, Harris, you're getting me all hyped, man. I really want to. I've been stuck at home for so long. I really want to sign up for this thing, man. I'm gonna contact you.
Let's go,
man. But anyways, what was the question again?
So, what made you decide to start your own business?
Oh shit! Okay, my journey probably isn't as interesting as Harris's. Mine's pretty boring. It's really simple, right? Back in the days, I was asking myself. I was in venture capital. The guys who were funding startups, right? I was in VC for a bit, and so basically, right, I was asking myself, what is the one skill set that allowed me to build a product that could impact lives of millions of people, right? Back then, I didn't have a business idea. I didn't have a big bag of gold waiting for me, right? I didn't have a lot of money, what I'm trying to say, right? I no money, no skill sets, and nothing. So I decided to just learn up technology. It really started with just me learning. That's it. I didn't have any plans of doing a business whatsoever, no plans. Until one day, one of my friends, who's a computer science grad, he came to me and he asked me to teach him how to code. He's graduated, by the way, right? He's almost graduating, doing his finals. And I was helping him with his finals, helping him with one or two of his interviews. That's when I realized something is very wrong in the industry. So one thing led to another. I started coaching more and more people, adding value wherever I can go, right? To my friends, to my social media followers, wherever I go, right? And over time, one thing led to another some more. Everything just happened very naturally. We started getting a project. So our first project was an authentic sneaker marketplace, which is a pretty big thing, right? We worked with a founder of one of the biggest resellers in Malaysia. So he has a big community of over 100,000 people, right? So he wanted to build this thing. He's a friend of mine. So we decided to go ahead and just dive right into it and start building that thing up. Then over time, we got more and more projects. We got this invoice automation platform, right, where you automate most of your invoices for F&B, for the F&B industry. We wanted to do some logistics tech startup. So it's just more and more things coming over time, and we just had to scale up the team, had to grow the team. Now we have a small team of over 20 people of developers, marketeers, and business development people. It's really just nothing, man. It all came very naturally, I think, for us. We started learning how to do ads and scaling it up, impacting more people instead of just our organic reach. So I think the whole journey was more like a learning process for me as well. Not really driving out, going pushing myself like crazy. It's more like things just happen gradually, which I feel we've been pretty stagnant now for the past couple of months. So I think it's time for me to now actively pursue and grow it. I do see potential across Southeast Asia as well. We do see potential, scaling the business across Singapore, and we did get quite a few different grants from Singapore. Which what I was saying was that we can then for this as well. Yeah.
Nice. That's amazing. I think it's
Thanks.
it's interesting to see somebody like, you just kind of was like helping a friend out, and then you kind of like it just kind of, just like Harry said, it just kind of moved in this like natural evolution kind of way. It's not like you just woke up one day like, I'm going to start a business. It just kind of happened slowly. But what about you, Tanuja? You're also, by the way, you're muted.
Well, actually, picking off from where you stopped, where you said, you just woke up one day and you just decided you wanted to, and that's actually what happened to me. Because exactly 2 weeks before the whole lockdown happened last year in March, I was supposed to take off to go and start a new travelogue show in Indonesia. And then all of that, of course, got pushed because my whole career of the span of 10 years have just been travel. And then suddenly this hits and, everything's shut down and you can't do anything. And so I was literally stuck at home between four walls, not knowing what to do, so frustrated. And I think at that point in time, all the brands were figuring out, how do we come forward? How do we brand? What do we do? Everybody was kind of lost, right? You didn't know what to do at that point in time. And then I was just sitting down and I'm like, what can I do? I'm so bloody bored. And like I said, my mom was making these powder. She was making more because I've got my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. They're both doctors and they're both frontliners. And my brother-in-law was one of the first doctors who was working at the Center for Disease Control in Sungai Buloh Hospital. And he was one of the lead doctors that took on the COVID grounds at that point in time. So she was making a lot of this powder at that point in time. And like she's giving my sister-in-law who's working in in University Malaya, and him who's working in Sungai Buloh as well. So I was like, hey, can I just try and package this? I mean, we know how it works within the family. It's something that's really health related. It really helps with strengthening the immune system and whatnot. And I don't even know how, guys, like Hari said, I don't even know how I started to source packaging, come up with design and how to, I don't even know how I did it now. It's been a year and I can so relate to what you say, Haris, because I'm like, back then, I always wanted to have a brand of my own, and I always knew it was going to be something along the lines of health and beauty, something that I've always been very passionate about, and something very holistic. And that's why I think it was just, I always say everything happens in divine timing. I always believe that. And I feel like it just happened in divine timing because in order for me to have done something like this, I actually needed a lot of time on my hands, which I was, induced, as I can say, upon the pandemic happening.
Yeah.
And I just, I remember, I can think back now, like how I was measuring how to package it and how to get the right amount of packaging and the stickers and how do you go about getting certified and oh my God, all that work.
Yeah.
But and now it's grown. And
I really like resonate with what you say about divine timing, because like even for Yuzu, which is where the Woke Up show is like parked under, like we had, me and my partner Tim, we started this company called Lemonade together, where we wanted to do like corporate social responsibility consulting. Like we were doing something totally different, like on the corporate side. We just basically like, I have a lot of passion for like NGO work. So we were like, you know what? All these corporations have so much money. Let's like help them funnel their money in a meaningful way. That way, we can make the big guys, the big bad guys do some good work. And we know that the lives that are being touched are the people who are really in need. So we had this,
you just level up the karma, right?
Well, we try, but we really wanted to start this business, but the pandemic sort of hit and it was just like, okay, this is not going to happen because this requires a lot of on-ground work. So we were thinking, and then we were like, why don't we start a media site and we can talk about, we can have lots of different heartwarming stories, this and that. We're like, what can we do to separate us? Like, maybe we can start a podcast. So we kind of like conceptualized this podcast and we were like, okay, let's film a bunch of episodes. And this was in April this year. And so, we didn't have any funding or anything. And we were just like, you know what? Let me call up all my friends, force them to do an episode with me, and we just figure it out. And, the timing was incredible because if we hadn't filmed in April and we hadn't sort of kind of built this backlog of 6-7 episodes, we wouldn't have a show because we went into lockdown in May. And I, of course, thought that, after 6 weeks or so, we'll be back out. We can film again, not on Zoom, but here we are on Zoom.
We're still here.
Yeah, but things sort of happen. Like, you understand on both ends where you kind of wake up with this idea and you're like, I'm going to see it through. But you also kind of see how all the different steps you've taken in your life sort of led you up to this moment. And so I wanted to ask you guys, like, with the pandemic, obviously, like, I don't always want to talk about the pandemic, but it's our reality right now. Like, how has this process of adapting to the pandemic, kind of worked with your business? Because I know that, Tanuja, you started it during the pandemic. Haris, you didn't mean to start it during the pandemic, but it just happened. And Derek, you started it also just a little bit before the pandemic as well.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, none of us kind of prepared, except maybe you, Tanuja, to deal with this life that we are dealing with. So what are some of the challenges that came about that maybe you never really expected to have to deal with?
Yeah, actually, before we go into that, I just want to show my appreciation for each and every one of you here, because, like, honestly, right, the whole going through pandemic and exploring, like what Haris was saying, what Tanuja was saying, it's all about exploring. We often don't know the answers, but we have to figure out ourselves as entrepreneurs, like yourself as well, right? Actually, right? We don't know what we're doing. It's all about learning along the way and just figuring out the ropes. Same for myself.
Yeah.
So in terms of how pandemic really affected the business, we rented a small office back in PJ when I think it was March last year, basically before the pandemic, right? And what was a very simple shift for us, we just stopped renting the place, converted everything online, built an online sales funnel where we could try and automate most of our sales processes online. And then that's it. It's pretty simple shift for my business.
I guess
and my
it's a
team,
tech business.
Yes, it's a tech business. And my team has been quite a remote team as well. So we didn't have a lot of, my co-founder and I, we consciously made the decision to not micromanage our stuffs. So we had to develop a more in-house framework to manage them and really scale the team that way. Because we know fundamentally, if it requires me or him to actually go down and micromanage people, we're not going to scale the business, right? So it's all about learning how to do things. It's all about exploring, really.
Yeah, just learning as you go. I guess that's I think honestly, like, even those big fancy CEOs, they're probably doing the same. They just wearing the suit and having the vibe. So we just don't know. What about you, Haris? I think you spoke a bit about it earlier, but you probably had the toughest transition because of the nature of your business.
Yeah, for sure. So, like I was saying before, I mean, online spinning was not a thing. Like, it was literally not a thing, I was, obviously there were like different types and all that, but at least in Malaysia, it wasn't something that was there. But, like with like just having your own business and, and at the time as well, like, we were all so excited for it. Like, we were so, like, I still am like super passionate about like what I do. But that brink, I think you all would know, like, that moment where you're just about to go, like, that's like probably the peak of, your excitement. And getting that blow that we couldn't do it was just like, nah, we all just reach a moment. I think it was the first, like I said, it was the first 2 weeks, and then they extended it. And then we were like, no, this, we have to do something. And, again, lucky enough, we found the right people to do it. And it actually really helped us because we were the only ones who were doing anything during the pandemic, and all the other gyms were trying to figure out how to do it. But we've already set it up because we started working on it earlier. I guess they were kind of still waiting. And we kind of had that booster. So it really helped the company kind of just like, and the brand itself just like kind of explode a little bit more. I guess people saw, what we were doing. We were actually doing things on Instagram. We're very heavy on social media. And like, I think what you mentioned as well, Abshi, just now, like how the pandemic kind of like helped us. Like it really did. Like, every time another MCO hit, we shift everything online. So, we're pushing our subscriptions, we're pushing our bike rentals. And even now we make it easier for people to obtain a bike. So you can directly buy it from us and you can get the gear head to toe. Like, You can get your shoes, your cleats, whatever you guys need.
Yeah.
We have like pay as you go programs as well, where you can pay like monthly. Yeah, so we do that as well if you guys like want bikes and stuff. So, we're trying to make it as accessible as it can be for people. And yeah, every time an MCO hits, we get more online riders. So, I don't like it. It's a good thing. I don't like it though. I like to be more like, physical and with my riders, but it's okay. We just, I think as business owners, you always need to kind of find a way to not just sit. I think you can't sit, that's the thing. Like you just have to do, like I feel like you always got to find a way to kind of like evolve. And once you kind of reach that point, you just know like, oh, okay, I'm on the right track. I've done something right. Let's keep this ball rolling, I think that's all we could have done in the moment.
You have a lot of responsibilities, not just to yourself as a business owner, but to your staff and to your other instructors, even to your customers who, they use the physical activity as the biggest mental health, like taking care of your mental health during this time. That I can imagine it's also an immense responsibility. But what about you, Tanuja? Like, you started your business during the pandemic. So how did you sort of prepare to kind of launch a product, start this brand? Because you can't have the big fun launch party and, all those fun things that you could do at a normal time. What did you start?
Yeah, so you guys, thanks for the question, Abshi. I think it's a really important question. And I just like to share, I don't come from a business background. I studied law. I don't know head or tail about business, nothing. I would just say, I think the pandemic has just been it. By Tanuja has really been a catalyst of the pandemic. It really conceptualized the whole thing. I didn't even think I would come up with something like this at the end of the day. It's not been easy, especially for someone like me who's always worked in an industry where my presence has always been, needed. Like I'm always in front of the camera. I'm always traveling. I'm always working with people. I, for one, miss what I do. I miss working. I miss emceeing in front of a crowd of 5,000 people in a corporate dinner. I miss filming with my crew, directors, and these are people who've legit lost their jobs. They can't do anything. They can't go online. They can't film online. These people have. My industry is one of the biggest industries to be hit by this entire thing. And it's not been easy. And so many, I've got my crew who are now like online business owners, selling Keropok Leko, doing so many things. And we might not even get them back once this is all over because they're so good already at doing what you do, they do online, which is so lovely to see. But at the same time, I've also lost a lot of wonderful people from the film industry, from crews to producers to directors, lots of suicidal cases. Over the past 2 weeks, let's not even go that far back. Over the past 2 weeks, personally, is the first time ever since the pandemic has hit, I have lost very, very close family friends to COVID, which has not been easy. So, as much as, good things have come out of it, there's always there's always pros and cons. And I think at the end of the day, it's all about balance, right? There is a balance, and it's just maintaining that equilibrium of the whole thing. But it's definitely not been easy. Even running something like By Tanuja, I wish I could go and see my printers, but I can't because they're closed. They aren't allowed to open because they're non-essentials. And whenever I get my printing done, like there's so many mistakes because they don't understand because I can't be there physically. If I want to launch a new product now, I have to take more time to figure out how to get things done, to order new stuff. So it's definitely a challenge, but I think what keeps you going in a crisis, right? The crisis itself. So I think with just that mentality that we need to have, and I think more than anything, especially with the younger generation, I think I'm the oldest among all of you here. So there's one thing I can share and say is, I think just never give up. And I think sticking to what you're passionate about will carry you a long, long way. Something that you love, because I don't think you'll stop injecting that love. It just comes very naturally. So if you want to start a business, I was always told, Tanuja, hey, you're a beauty queen, right? You're an ex-beauty queen, you're a fashion icon. Why don't you just start a clothing line of your own? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know whether designing's my thing, and I never dabbled into that. And when I was kind of forced, like I said, against four walls and not knowing what to do, what's the thing that I turned to? I turned to something that I love, which is wellness, which is health, and something that's very holistic and naturalistic. And I think if anybody out there who's looking to, start something and don't know where to go and don't know how to start, I think keep to that passion. What do you love doing? And I think just, go on that bit. So yeah, it's not been easy, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So sorry to hear about like the loss of close people in your life. This pandemic just fucking sucks. Like there's no other way to put it. But
are we allowed to curse on this?
Yeah,
we are.
Oh
the thing is, right, guys, it's like, it's so crazy, right? I mean, who in the world would think we'd see this in our lifetime? Right? Like, and it has been the shortest and longest years of our lives. Like, till the day we take our last breath, we'll be telling this to our kids and grandkids.
Yeah. Oh my God, using this against them forever. Yeah. I will never stop bringing it up.
Yeah. You know what's pretty insane? Like, I don't know if you guys like experience this as well, but like, I guess maybe, most of my friends are like much younger. So even if they get COVID, like they will recover, they're fine. But I feel for my parents, man. When I see my parents, they'll be like, there's like one of my friends are like, they're not doing good. And then after that, like, we're not here anymore. Like,
I think that happened like, I have a question.
3 weeks in a row, double dosed.
No, not yet.
We're good.
Not even one?
Very soon.
Not even one?
Yeah.
Dude, who do we need to talk to? What is this? No.
Why don't you just hack my Sajatra lah?
We're
I'm just staying at home anyway, so I was like,
I'm just being cheeky. But Tanuja, I really like what you said about passion, because that's something I see amongst all of you guys. Like there is a passion for what you do, and I just don't think you can sustain a business in normal times without passion. And during a pandemic, you really need to really care about your business. If not, it's just not going to survive. But one thing I really was curious to ask you guys, because at Yuzu, we are just a really small company, just like me and Tim, and we have an editor who helps us do the editing for the podcast. And like I pretty much do a lot of the background work that, we don't have, we don't really receive any government aid. So I wanted to ask you guys, did you receive any aid for your employees or for your staff during, or just for your business in general during this time from the government?
No, guys, I'm full on injected my own funds into my own business.
No, perhaps I can share a little bit on this. So maybe Harris, do you have anything you want to go first?
Well, pretty short answer. Not really. We didn't, from the government, no. Maybe just a little bit from like the Pumule program that they have. But I mean, even then that barely covers, the rent. So not much, just a little bit, nothing to shout about.
How much are you paying for rent? Just wondering.
I don't think I'm allowed to say.
I don't think I can say in public.
Right, say off camera. Okay. Off camera.
Yeah. I'll let you guys know later. Yeah, I'll let you know later.
What about you, Derek? Did you?
Yeah. So I started the business with solely just my funds, no external investors. But in terms of funding, I had some form of support from the government, Malaysian and Singaporean. In terms of investor funding, no. But what we had was hiring grants really from Malaysian government. So you guys can definitely check it out as well, right? I think they're covering 40 to 50% of your staff expenses, which really helped us. Of course, there are a lot of clauses and all that. Your staff has to not be hired for X amount of months. You have to sign them up, and your company has to be registered within certain range, and there's a lot of clauses basically, right? But if you meet those requirements, I think could be a great help in terms of covering your expenses, because they cover it for, I think, 6 months. So you can definitely check it out. Yeah. In fact, right now, don't know if you guys know who is YB Ong Kian Ming.
I've heard of him. I don't know who he is.
So we're actually working on this thing because a lot of people are not aware of the grants that are available to the public, to business owners right now, right? So we are doing a little initiative for YB to really just show the different loans and the different grants that the government is giving right now in Malaysia. So yeah, just to wrap it up what I was saying, right? Hiring grants, yes. investment grants, investors, no, it was really tough, especially in Malaysia, where the investment per capita for an early pre-seed stage startup is just so low because people are so risk averse here in Malaysia, and the funding here is just really small, right? But if you compare it to a country like Singapore, that's where, you know, investors are crazy, right? They're going all out looking for startups, and they're a lot more risk loving, not so risk averse like Malaysian people are. So they literally have government agencies going out hunting for startups to give money to.
Wow.
They literally came to me and asked, are you interested to join our little mini accelerator program? Of course, we had to apply for it, we had to pitch for it, but the energy was very different comparing to Malaysia. In Malaysia, when I went out to them, they were like, oh, another startup. You know, don't talk to me, right? It's like
they're much more aggressive.
So many SMEs,
Exactly, right? Like the Singaporean guys are like, hey, come to me. I want you to sign up. Please sign up, right? Then I can give you the money. And you know, we got a few small grants here and there. 10,000 Sing dollar. It's not a lot.
That's small. Wow, that's nice, man.
But Tanuja is fully funded by Tanuja. That's it.
it's truly by Tanuja.
Truly by Tanuja.
No, but you guys should check it out. You guys should check it out. I can link you guys up to it later on. Both the grants that I got. Yeah,
please do.
Definitely.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Derek.
Yeah, we can link it down here in the description box.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have one of those? Nice.
But we are kind of running a bit long right now. But so I also wanted to ask you guys, like, what things kind of came up for you after you started a business that you didn't realize would come up? Because I think we all have this like glamorized view of being a business owner, which is like, you know, the chic outfits, you own this business, you do all these like cool stuff, but nobody really sees the grind. And so I'm like curious to know, like, what are some of the things that came up that you didn't expect? And maybe for people out there who are listening that are also thinking of starting their own business, like, these are some things that you wish you had known before you started yours.
Well, I was sitting down day to night packing my own herbs on the floor, putting stickers on the packets, sealing them up, measuring it, getting it on until I could hire staff. The first few nights, you know, not sleeping, grinding my own herbs, learning how to, you know, do it, the entire Ayurvedic process that goes behind it with my mom in the kitchen, in front of the stove, heating stove. So yeah, all of that, you know, day and night, it's your baby, right? So you're sitting down and getting all of that done and watching it grow. I think it's very fulfilling at the end of the day. Yeah. So yeah, hands-on groundwork, dirty work, get it done. I think that's when you appreciate it even more.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I can go real quick. Yeah, I mean, jumping on what Tanuja said, it is very, very hands-on. I don't think people get how hands-on it is. Like, once you're in it, I think you have an idea of like, okay, like, you know, that you're going to be putting in the work, but like, just know, all you viewers out there, like, it is a lot. Like, you're going to wake up, you're going to go to bed thinking about work. You're going to wake up
day and night.
Work, day and night. And like, I think, okay, so prep yourselves for that, of course. But another thing, like, you still need to also, you know, do the things that you like and do the things that you're passionate about. Because I think this was one thing that I didn't realize when I went into this. Like, I guess before it was, when I started becoming an instructor and stuff, it wasn't my main, you know, it wasn't my full-time job. It was still something part-time. Like, you know, I was instructing. So like, to a certain extent, like, it was my passion project. And then once you turn your passion project into a business, there's a shift there. Like, for me, I used to do, like, this was like a place of like pure joy and happiness. You know, it still is for sure. But, you know, then the business side comes of it. So that's where it gets a little bit like, it gets a bit more hectic. It becomes, you know, it gets a little bit more hectic. It gets a little bit more, there's things that it wasn't there, feelings that wasn't there before, but then now it's in. So that's kind of like, you know, it kind of like, you know, it's like a love-hate kind of thing, I feel. And like we stayed up till like 3-4 a.m. just like prepping everything. And then I had a class like that morning itself, like 9 a.m. I think. So I literally went back home. No, at the studio, like when we were opening. Yo, literally setting it up. It was like till like 4 a.m. I think I went home for a quick nap, got back up, and then like first class was like 9:30 a.m. It was insane.
Yeah, I think people really don't realize it's a grind. And it's something because it's your baby. I think that, like for me, I was working this like 9 to 6 job for 6 months because I hated it. Like it's not that like it was a great company. I had a great team. Everybody was so nice, but it was just not for me. And I thought that, starting something on my own would give me a lot of freedom. But then I realized I was like, oh my God, I am now working 24/7 versus just 9 to 6 because this is my baby and I want to make it perfect.
It feels good now, though. You feel good about it now, though, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Do you feel the same way, Derek?
Hey guys, am I lagging out?
No, you're not.
Not at all.
You're okay. You're good.
Okay, cheers, guys. Okay, so for myself, it's very similar to what all of you mentioned, right? It's really just like I thought I was gonna stop. I'm doing this whole thing so I don't need to work 9 to 5, but now I'm literally working 24/7, which is crazy, which is absolutely crazy. Right? And another thing that I would say is one thing that you tend to overlook is wishful thinking. You always think that, oh, you have ideas. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and I can do this, I can do that, right? You have a lot of goals, a lot of things in your head, but at the end of the day, it all boils down back to execution. Because you just hope things will happen. It's not going to happen, right? Not like in a corporate where you're focused on one small task, and as long as you get that one thing done, you're good to go. You can close your eyes on everything else, right? It's very different in a business, because if you close your eyes on everything else, no one's going to cover your ass. You are literally the final line of defense, right? And if you don't do it, no one does it. The company just fucks up, right?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like that's a really good point because, like, you know how when you work at a company, you kind of have this mentality like it'll get done. Yes. But when it's your company, if you don't get it done,
no one's gonna
get it done. Like if you don't post on social media every single day, then you might lose your following. Like there's all these things that you have to constantly be keeping up with. And also, I wanted to ask you guys about social media. Obviously, even before the pandemic, so the digital age made social media the biggest means of marketing. And do you guys feel like, that social media has been the biggest way to keep your business afloat? Because obviously, people are not like putting up billboards and magazine ads and all like they used to, even, with the digital age, but even further with the pandemic. Has social media been like the biggest tool for you guys?
For me, definitely. If I can start this, guys. Or you guys want to go ahead first?
No, go ahead. 98K? Go ahead.
98K? Wow, that's a lot of followers.
Wow.
Just had to go and do the homeworks, guys. No, for me, predominantly, it definitely has been. I mean, I've worked in social media, also what they call a content creator over the past years. And starting a business, it has definitely been advantages in that aspect because being a brand of my own and then starting a brand of my own thereafter, which is by Tanuja now, has definitely been that much more easier, I would say, because already having a presence on social media for the past few years and already working on it. So yeah, for me, my business is 100% online. Like by Tanuja is all online. I just have an Insta shop and that's it. And then I, of course, I just solely work online, guys. I've not spent a single cent on marketing because my product speaks for itself. I think Apshi's on it and Apshi's taking it, and it's really helped a lot of people. I didn't expect it to grow so fast, honestly, over the past 1 year, but it's helped so many people with their health and beauty issues. And you have to consume it religiously because it's 100% natural Ayurvedic potent herbs. It's no quick fix. It's not like an antibiotic that it's administered and then within 3 days you're fine. You have to take it religiously. Take it, trust the process and your body, and it really does work. So seeing it grow has been really fulfilling. It's been, of course, I do it all by myself. Of course, now I've got staffs running it with me, but it's not an easy feat. Like I said, I don't come from a business background. So it's constant learning, constant. It's no joke running a business. You guys can relate. But it's interesting, right? Like to see it grow and then you learn new skills and you know how to market and and then you're reading up on business books and stuff, and you're like,
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I feel the same way. Like even when we started the like Yuzu social media, wow, that's like a tongue twister. I kind of had a vision of what I wanted the brand to look like, and we just like tried to execute it. And it's like, learning how to use social media, how to market. I never really like was a social media person. Like I like to post for my friends. Like it's very personal, my Instagram. Like it's not for the public. So when we were moving it to like something for the public, how do you know which post to put an ad on? How do you know like what is going to get people to follow you and build a meaningful following, not just one that's like, full of just random, like, people who don't care about your content, but it's, you learn so much. And yeah, I personally, so social media has been our biggest tool, our only tool, like you said, Tanuja, like to getting the word out there about our show and about our platform.
For sure.
Haris, you are also another big, your journey has got an incredible brand and I feel like you kind of know exactly what the brand is when you look on your social media. And it's also very, very popular.
Thank you. Is it? All right. I'll take it. I will take it. Nice. No, for sure. I mean, same like what Tanuja was saying. I mean, journey as itself, we need an online presence, like, because, we can't sell something that people can't see, people, you need to build that trust. You need to kind of show them a little bit more. And I think now, like with social media and like the internet, really, like there's a lot of options for everybody. There's so many different options. And if you're not competing there, like you'll become a dead fish, after that. Like you have to have that kind of social media presence. We literally market everything through Instagram. We use Instagram ads, like that's it, and even then, so it helps us in a way where we barely pay for anything, like Tanuja said as well. And it's been good, it's easy. Everybody's on it. Everything's already set up. And the best part I think about it is it just extends our reach, We have a minimum in studio, there's a minimum amount of numbers, amount of bikes that we can have, but we talk a lot more. We talk a lot more about like just riding on a bike. Like I always try to touch on like how people are feeling. How's their day been? Like I try to include all this in the ride. And even though I can't, at least I know that maybe it's just 30 people in the studio, but then I have like maybe like 50, 60 people online joining in as well. So that just extends our reach so much. And then we can use the videos now, cut it, post it up, and that goes out to like all the thousands of viewers that are like watching. So it's just I think at least for me, like we didn't have social media, there's no way we could have been like in the place that we are today. So definitely for social media. I've been trying to get on more, speak more and stuff. So Tanuja, I'll probably need tips after this.
No problem, guys.
Yeah.
Keep it consistent. I think at the end of the day, if there's anything that I can share, I'm still learning myself. I'm still learning myself, but I think be very clear of your branding. And just keep it consistent, because this whole algorithm thing that's going on as well, that you guys need to be aware of. So you'll be fine.
And I think that's like a weird, like good thing that came out of the pandemic is that you can reach more than the bikes in the room. Like you can have, 50 people in a class. That's something that probably
but you're forced, right? You're forced to do it now, isn't it? It's like you're forced to live this digitized age. There's no other way.
Yeah. Derek, I also wanted to ask you, because on the Hacker Collective, you guys do a lot of videos, like talking to different people, almost podcast style. So was that something that you transitioned to? Obviously, most of your business was during the pandemic, but to increase the engagement on your social media pages?
Yeah, as the person in charge of most of the business side of things, I'm always trying to look for different angles. You can literally find me everywhere on Instagram, even on Pinterest, on YouTube, right? It's really just trying to put my content as many places as possible. But really, Tanuja, what impresses me the most is what you said just now. You spent 0 on ads, which is crazy to me, right? Which is absolutely crazy. Because I don't know, did Harry say he has like 98K followers or something like that?
No, Tanuja has 98K followers. I don't know how many followers.
I wish I had 98K.
94K on Instagram. 20 over thousand on Twitter and 31,000 on Facebook.
There you go.
So
This
collectively, but
way out
no,
of my
guys,
league.
very honestly, I have not spent a single cent on advertising. My main social media, Bhai Tanuja was born on social media, and it's run on social media. I think because of my strong presence online, like I
Right.
said, as a brand on my own,
Yeah.
I have been able to propel Bhai Tanuja in that aspect, which has been, like I said, really advantageous, but it's still a lot of work,
And also, I feel like,
can you imagine, guys? I'm managing my own page, which is Tanuja, and then I have to create content for Bhai Tanuja as well. Like
Wow.
I have to manage two. I'm literally managing. Yeah, so it's as much as it's advantages, of course, it's still the work on both ends.
Yeah, but I do think it's also really smart that, you did somehow manage to build this amazing following on your Instagram through all the good work that you do, and to
I was
use your
against
platform.
it. I was very, very much against social media. When I came onto the scene back in 2009, I didn't get social media until it was Facebook then. I didn't get Facebook until 2012. I refused to do it. And then I was like, you know what? You have to get on it. There's no way to run away. Having said that, as much as I share a lot, I don't share a lot more because, I do realize social media is all about the hype and you don't believe everything you see, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. But I think it's smart to use the platform that you built to launch something that's great. Your product it's a lovely, holistic, wonderful product. You're not selling something unhealthy, or that's like,
no, I try and stick to it. Yeah,
it's a product of quality, and you use the tools at your disposal to make that happen. I think that's what everybody should do. Like, maybe even if your tool is not social media, because that's not for everybody, but you might know other ways to kind of launch something or make something happen. So yeah, I think that was really, really smart. That's like a smart.
Thanks, guys. I tried.
Move.
Still trying. It's still a lot of WIP,
Yeah, no, actually, if you don't mind me adding on to what I was saying as well, right? Yeah, sorry guys. Just want to share, for those of you watching as well, for social media ads, definitely give it a try. Why? Because for myself and my business, I always ask myself, what is the CAC, the customer acquisition cost, right? At the end of the day, if I'm putting in 1 ringgit and I get 10 ringgit out of it, how freaking will I do it? I'm going to do it all day, every day. I'm going to go all out on it, right? So as long as I can keep that ratio really healthy, I wouldn't mind spending on ads because the money is still always positive. The cash flow is always positive for me, right?
Derek, I got a question for you on that. I'm going to cut you there. Okay, so I was told ads on social media don't really work unless you're huge brands. Like, for example, your what is Rihanna's brand called again? Fenty. Unless you're Fenty, unless you're like, Ivy Park, and then you spend and then it emerges. I don't know how far this is true, Derek. Maybe you can share with us and let us know. Has it worked?
At the end of the day, again, it depends on the business model. Obviously, if you have a nice big following like Rihanna and all that, yes, but their ads are not so much to generate leads anymore, right? Their ads are probably going to be making sales right off the bat. But for us,
that's true.
How many times have you guys bought something just looking at an ad on a website, on Facebook? Almost, I don't know. But for me, I never bought anything from a random ad I saw online. I've never done it.
What are you?
Oh my God. Derek, how do you do that?
You're better than us.
No.
He's lying, guys.
I'm broke. He's
lying, guys.
That's it.
He's not back yet, guys.
You're human.
What I'm trying to say, guys, is that maybe for lower ticket items, people buy easily, right? Maybe for you guys, for you rich folks, lower ticket is something like $100. For me,
folks and Jesus.
She has 98K followers, bro.
Don't be crazy, you guys. I'm still not like in the 1 million, 5 million league, okay? Like all the other celebrities out there.
Okay, no, guys, just want to add on as well. So for myself, I never really bought anything because I'm broke. Okay, and my course is actually not cheap. I actually do sell like a coding course and all that, right? We sell it. It's not a course. Okay, I can go in depth into it. It's more like a learning experience where you get a job in 3 months, right? We charge $700, which is not cheap in the grand scheme of things for an average Malaysian, right? To fork out 1 month of their salary, if they don't see the value, they're not going to pay it upfront. Yeah. So what we got to do is we got to capture their leads, or even if we do not capture their leads, we have to retarget them, correct? So we need to retarget them on Facebook and Instagram. And Tanuja, that's where the power comes into play. Because if they don't sign up on the spot, what are you going to do? You're going to need to, you don't want to lose that lead because you probably paid 1 ringgit for it already. For them to just visit your website, you paid 1 ringgit, right? Are you just going to let the 1 ringgit burn? No. You're going to try your best to milk the shit out of it. And hopefully out of the 1,000 people who visit your site, maybe 10% converts, and 10% of whatever my ticket size is, if that amount is still bigger than the CAC, which is the cost I use to acquire them, it's still a win for me. And as a small business, I feel, of course, Rihanna's brand will do a lot better. But if it's a small business, it makes me some small positive net cash flow. As long as it's positive, how frequent will I do it? I'll do it all day, every day. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Derek, for sharing. Yeah,
Tanuja, I would also say that, we do use a lot of ads on Yuzu. We do it for our Instagram and we do it for our YouTube channel as well. And for the YouTube channel, I would say it's pretty worth it to put those ads out. And even
YouTube, I trust. Yeah, YouTube definitely.
Yeah, YouTube is good. And even on Instagram, I think you just have to make sure that you choose the right post to share, because I've done, a certain number of money on one post and, it was just a waste of money. But then I've done less money on maybe a more engaging post. And, the followers we got, the likes we got, completely blew my mind away. So I think it's also obviously brands like Fenty and all, they are, I can't even compare my little company with their brand, but I think it's all about really just choosing the posts and the ads that are really engaging, because that's what's going to get people to.
Thanks for sharing,
follow.
guys. I should look into it.
Yeah, wait. I think the one good
I might as well
thing
post
though,
my page, right? And then the traffic will still go.
Yeah,
that makes sense actually, Tanuja, because you have a nice, pretty face. No, that's the thing, right? I can't do that, because if I do that, I'm gonna be throwing money down the drain, right? But you guys can probably do it, right? The three of you, right? Just do it. Build your personal brand and then funnel the profits from your personal brand account organically, which is what you're doing already, Tanuja, which I feel makes sense. Yeah. I think the one other good thing that is for small businesses, at least, you guys can actually see the data that the ads that you put in, you can see it through insights. You can see, you can set the parameters, who you reach. And then if it doesn't work, there's definitely not a guide for it, but then you can kind of work around, and then you can see when, okay, you can see that okay, when I did this, this was good. A lot more followers, a lot more likes. And then you kind of grow from there. I mean, at least that's what we kind of look at on the smaller scale things.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I think it's obviously not everybody is a social media person. I don't really think of myself as a social media person or to grow my personal brand, but putting it out for another
there's
brand.
There's a difference now, Apshi. There's a social media person and then there's also social media business person. Everything, I mean, of course, everything's essentially a business, and then running it's also very different now, from the see. I've learned so much now from Haris and what you and Derek as well said, so.
Yeah.
Wait, Tanuja, if you don't mind me asking, just for yourself, right? For your personal brand of 90 plus K followers, which is crazy impressive, right? Are you still yourself on it? Do you still post random ass stuff of you doing stupid mundane stuff? Or
the ratchetness is toned down.
You guys can go and have a look. I am still myself over there. I'm still very much myself over there. Although my Insta stories, I think you'll be able to see me. My postings, you will be able to see more. My branding is, I think, more clearer on it. But my Insta stories, it's very much me. Today, I did a Q&A in Indonesian language. So that is super on ratchet, typical me.
Oh my God, her hair is bigger on Insta story, guys. How
give me 10% of it?
We need the products.
Yeah, I think that's what makes you likable, is that you are just yourself. And I feel following people who are
important.
Perfect,
let's be very honest, right? Like I said, I was never into doing social media. And like I said, as much as I work so much in front of the camera, it's important that the presence is there. And all the more now that I'm running a business, I see how it's really worked for me. At the same time, I also feel, because I work so much in the limelight, it's all about the aesthetics first and foremost in the kind of line of work that I do. There's also a certain part of me that I keep to myself, which I feel is really, really important. I'm not one, like I said, I share a lot on social media, but there's also a lot more that I don't share. And I feel like it's important for me personally to draw that line. Some people might not need that line, and some people do. And I feel like I do need that. So yes, you see me there, but I know, for instance, I just give you an example. I never share about my personal life on social media. Like you'll never see a picture of like a boyfriend or nothing. That's I think for me very personal, and I'd like to keep that for myself because I feel everything else is out there. I just need something for myself.
Of course. You just want to keep something special and something's just for you.
And some
like
people are okay with sharing everything else, but for me, I just need to keep that part of it to myself, just sharing.
Agree. Okay.
So, all right, guys, I think we've actually been going for almost an hour plus.
It's been so fun talking to you guys.
Yeah,
it's fun. No, I actually have a question. Actually, is it okay if I ask one question to all of you? Because
of course.
For me, the way I see it, building a business, at the end of the day, what's the goal? The goal is for us to not have to be employed again, right? We kind of automate the entire business for it to be sustainable without our presence in it, correct? So I want to ask this because this is a question that I have even in my current business. What is the one thing that you guys cannot replicate, that you can't hire or outsource or automate? What's the one thing that you have to do as a founder?
What do you mean by that? Do you mean like that we as business owners bring to the table, or you mean just like in our process? Like, what do you mean?
Like when it comes to scaling a business, right? At some point, you're going to need to build a team for them to handle the operations, the tech, the development, everything, right? And only when we achieve that, we can start resting and chilling out, enjoying life a little bit more because our business is a solid business now, right? So what is that one thing that you feel you cannot replace as a founder, right? You need to do it yourself, that only you actually can do, right? Rather than hiring someone else.
Host the woke up show? No, I'm kidding.
What?
I always need someone else to do it. I said host the woke up show, but but that's an interesting question. I feel like this. I mean, I don't like to think that there's nothing that that this business will always need my physical presence. I think that if you can lay a foundation that's strong enough and you find the people that are on your team, I think that's like the most important thing. Just like even in life, like I always look like people who work with us, and even people in my personal life, I just look for people who are on my team, who want to see me succeed, who want to see the company succeed. And I don't want people in my life who are not rooting for me and I'm not rooting for them. I think that that's really important. And I guess it's just a strong foundation. I don't think that there's anything, personally, that's just my view, that I don't think there's anything that is like irreplaceable to me. I mean, one day there could be another host of this show, and honestly, I might not even have been hosting this show if we had like a huge big budget and we could get someone else to do it. But I think that we create a strong brand, we create a strong vision, and we have our values that are very very clear, and we get people who are really rooting for us. Then I think that even if you take a step back, it should be able to operate like a well-oiled machine.
I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'll ever be able to let Bhai Tanuja go just like that. Might be a little bit of a control Virgo freak in me.
I mean,
I don't know. I really, that's a really good question though, Derek. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. What is it that we can't automate?
What about you, Haris? I want to hear from Haris. Yeah.
Damn,
Haris.
I thought you were gonna answer first. Okay. No. No, good question though. Actually,
Really
I've never thought about it.
That was a tough question. You put us all on the spot.
It is a tough. I feel like you have a list of these. And you just like throw it out there.
Yeah, and I mean, like, how am I ever not going to be ever involved, right? I don't know, man. I don't know that that's even possible.
I think that okay, like I guess for me it would be like, because even when I started, like, I don't know how to put it in words, but let me try to explain it. I don't know, like okay, I'm gonna downscale this a little bit to like coaching, maybe not like owning a business, but at least for me, like I never did this for like, I mean, the money is not like I mean the like as an instructor, as a coach, like being able to kind of just like guide people from a bad place to a good place, like whatever place they are, they might be already good, they just want to be better or something like that, but like I think that ability to kind of like find that, like kind of like have that because I feel like a lot of people like they don't like. I mean, they don't know how to approach people. So I'm talking about like coaches, right? Especially in Malaysia and KL. Like I always look to like coaches in other countries and all that, and I feel like there's just a different, like there's a passion there for people and just like coaching and helping people that is something that I've rarely seen here. So even for me, when I'm trying to hire my instructors and coaches, I really try to implement that into them. Like, look, it's not about the, it's not about the glitz, not about the glamour. Like, this is tough work. You're going to be tired every day. You're going to be sore every day. Most of my instructors are part-timers. Like, they have full-time jobs and they do this on the side, really. And like, looking for people who are passionate about like just helping people in this sense and being able to do that every day to like so many different people is such a tough thing to find. And like, at least for me personally, like it is every time if I see an instructor go, if they can't do a week, it's so hard to replace that energy, because like people already are like, they're trying to get, they want to go for that class, that person's class. And then when we change instructors or something happens, they might not want to do the class anymore. So, we can't blame them. They're paying for the classes, but that energy that just radiates from coaches, is so difficult to just replicate.
So you feel like you wouldn't be able to just like totally not coach ever, right, Darius?
I don't think I'll be able to stop. I think that is my true passion. And I'm blessed to have a team who loves to do it, just like how I do as well. Thank God, but it is tough. It is tough. Something.
Okay, Derek, now you go and tell us what is it.
Yeah, Derek.
Guys, I don't have.
You have an answer to it. You answered knowing you wanted to know his answer.
Exactly. Derek, you flustered us all, so now it's time for you to be
guys, look. Honestly, I don't have an answer to this because this is the question that
I knew it. I knew it was going to be a question answer.
It is a genuine question, but look, what Tanuja and Harris mentioned is very in line with my current direction as well, which is what Tanuja and Harris said. The only thing that they cannot replace is themselves, their brand, right? Your brand, Tanuja, yourself. Only you can go on that camera, and that's what people are paying to see. Same as you, Harris. People are paying to see your face, pay to see you spin and all that, right? And also one thing that Harris mentioned, very similar to Apshi, was people, right? It's all about you as the leader building the culture for the people, for the team, right? Or else they're gonna just do, because everyone's from, some of your staff probably spend a few years in a different organization, right? When everyone of different cultures come together, someone has to be there to set the tone on what is the type of company this is going to become, right? And then for me, I think, I don't have the answer, right, guys? Honestly, I don't have the answer. But I think one thing that's hard for me personally is I always try to hire someone to replace my role, because eventually what I know is I want to be hands off the business. I want the business to grow as a business. I don't want me to be tied into the business, right? So one thing that I cannot hire is the ability to explore new initiatives, right? That is something that I can't track that. Like how do you track your staffs doing that? You can't track that, right? So for me, it's all about me exploring new things, building a framework around it, sharing it with my team, and letting them explore a lot more on that one thing. But the first person to explore, let's say, if I wanted to do CSR today, right? How am I going to do it? Am I going to hire someone to do it when I don't myself have an idea on how we can approach this problem, right? I can't. I need to be the first one diving straight into it for like a few weeks to a month, at least get a good idea of what entails, and then I can assign someone to do it. So more of an exploratory stage on top of, obviously securing cash flow, funding and all that. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. Yeah. Here's a question that I wanted to
Good one though, Derek. Thanks for sharing.
That was a good answer, dude. I feel like you set yourself up with our bad answers, and then
no, man.
No, he doesn't have an answer, right? He's just like us. It's just the same thing. Like, how do you basically how do you replace a Derek? How do you replace a Harris? How do you replace a Tanuja or an Akshi?
I'm just summarizing whatever you said.
Brilliant. All
right, so we have been going for very, very, very long. I would say we probably have hit an hour and a half at this point. So before we wrap up, any last words, any advice to future business owners themselves, or just any general advice? Just nothing. Nobody has
go. Sorry, I thought somebody was going to jump in.
Yeah, you too. No, I'll just go first. I'll keep mine short because I was like rambling a lot just now. So basically, what I would say is always go down to the unit economics, which is how much are you paying for a customer, and what's the lifetime value a customer gives you, right? Go back to the basics, right? If you can buy 10 ringgit with 1 ringgit, how frequently will you do it? All day, every day, right? So the question you should ask yourself is, how can you reach that level where you can, what is the formula to build that? How can you build that formula out, right? Buy 10 ringgit with 1 ringgit. How can you do that? That's the question I ask myself every day. I don't have the answer to it, because if I have a solid answer to it, I'll be super rich by now, right? So that's why
I love how Derek keeps bringing us back to consumerism, and essentially that's what a business is all about. So thanks for that, Derek. I really appreciate that.
No, I mean, obviously, with the money, I would use it to help people, CSR and all that, right? But I gotta put food on the table first. That's just me.
Absolutely.
You're gonna help yourself first, for sure.
At the end of the day, these are for-profit businesses. We build these businesses to make money. That's we have to. How else are we going to survive in this world? And it obviously stems from a place of passion, which is where all businesses should come from. But it's a money-making business. This is not a non-profit. This is not.
Yeah, I feel it also depends, guys. Like, for example, Derek, you're selling coding programs. Haris, you're selling something that's also under health, fitness, which is very, very important. I'm selling something that's people are consuming, So for me, at the end of the day, I think never ever compromising on quality is something that I very, very am very, very particular and careful about, because people are literally ingesting what I put out there, and making sure is ultimately, and it's a healing product that comes from a very olden ancient place of family tradition, and I think that's something I never want to forget, no matter how I grow. So that for me is very, very important, I feel.
I really feel that, because even when we do the show, we want to make sure every episode, is insightful, it's interesting. People want to watch it. They feel like when they watch the show, they're just talking to their friends. When you're feeling lonely, especially during the pandemic, if the episode is like, I want to make sure every episode is of quality, and that, I as a host ask the right questions and make everybody feel like they can just talk, so we can be organic and it can be raw. And I think it applies across the board, but definitely
and we can cuss and we can swear, which I love.
But when it comes to things you're putting in your body, of course, it's also extremely important that it is of quality. So it's good that you have that. You have that mindset.
All right, should I go? So I think just like a little bit of advice for you guys there who are planning on starting your own business. It is going to be difficult, but remember why you're doing it for sure. It's your passion, it's your baby. Remember why you're doing it. For me, it's always been the coaching. It's always been the people. I never thought about the money, thought about the smiles I get after a class. That's what I look forward to every single class. That's what makes it. That's what makes all the bad days worth it. And when you have a good day, it's a really fucking good day. I think you guys would know that as well. When it's a good day, it's a good day. So just keep on.
That's what makes a really good coach, guys. Right, Haris? That's what makes a really good coach, right, Harry? Someone who feeds off. You feed off your crowd's energy, and the crowd feeds off you. That's what makes you great.
I always say that to my instructors. By the way, like it is a bounce thing. The energy just bounces from instructor to rider, and it goes back and forth for the whole 45 minutes. It's a beautiful
and I can
thing.
relate as that. I can relate in the sense I can feel that when you say it, because, like I said, I miss my emceeing gigs. And when I'm in a room of 5,000 people, I love the energy that we feed each other off, So I can totally get what you mean when you say, the smiles on people's faces after you're done with your session, and it's very fulfilling. It's a different kind of high.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Hey, if you need a job, if you need another job, Tanuja, hit me up. I'll set you up.
For me,
Hey, you've never met a
extra
coach like
tall.
me? Give me a month, I'll sort you out.
Do you have a bike that can fit a 6-footer? Like seriously, guys, because I've tried bikes on like all.
I've had a 6'8" person in my studio.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take you up on that
Yeah,
one.
nah, he's tall. Oh yeah, and he
All right,
did it
guys.
fine.
Thank you so much for all your insights. This was a nice, fun chit chat with some fellow business owners. Really appreciate all of you guys. And to those watching, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And please stay safe and stay woke, guys. Bye.
Bye.
You guys.
Thank you guys. See ya.
Some
Thank
Yuzu
you.
with Apshi.
Have us back.